It all happened because people wanted that also. That's something very urgent. The Syrian army just did not fight. The Russians were ready to support provided the Syrian army was fighting, but they didn't have it. A lot of them just gave up. Some are still holding some part on the coastal belt, and they will be issue. But in my view, this is just the beginning of the problems of Syria. Although I must admit that even though Julani is basically a has been making right noises. He has been saying that we do not want to avenge anybody, take revenge against anyone. He has given amnesty to the soldiers, whoever wants to join and come and work with him. He approached the ex-prime minister and told him to continue till transition takes place. So they are trying to, and there has been violence has been much less as we have seen in this kind of a very large revolution. So if, as they say, they act on it, then there is a likelihood of Syria getting some respite and some semblance of governance in times to come. But it looks very unlikely to me at this stage. Why? Number one, there are so many domestic factors whose bosses are outside. For example, Syria, Free Syrian Army, that is supported by the Syrian National Army, which is supported by Turkey. The Democratic Forces is supported by USA, but they form the Kurdish. And so today only the HTS, which is the main body, has been able to take Deir ez-Zor, which was under the Kurdish, this thing with the help of the Turks. So Turkey has been involved very actively. Turkey wanted the leadership not only of the Islamic world, but in the Middle East, and it is a border. It's their on border. They are hosting very large number of Syrian refugees as well. So they have opened a border gate for them to border entrances for them to get in these refugees. One thing I must tell you that I have seen in Jordan when I was there were more than 2.1 million Syrians who have been living there as refugees. And there was once a Canadian ambassador organized a meeting and where they were recruiting taking a lot of people from Jordan camps to Canada. You see, we were several ambassadors and I spoke to many of these Syrians. Everybody said one word. We would not want to go to any country. We want to go back to Syria. While they were having their visa, many of them even refused to go to Canada. You can imagine. So they like their country. They want to come back. So this is what today the euphoria that one is seeing at the ordinary people's level. Ordinary Syrian is happy because he feels he has a hope. But I have been to Libya and have seen what has happened there. We are looking at what is happening in Yemen. We are seeing what's happening in Lebanon. So until and unless there is institutional mechanisms that are protected, a proper transition of power takes place, international community supports rather than divides, it's very difficult to have stability in these kind of violent transitions that take place. Assad had to leave. That was again, but the speed with which all this fell through was something remarkable, and I think that shows that how disgruntled ordinary people were there with Assad regime.